It's probably not the news that you wanted to hear, but Connecticut has some of the highest electric rates in the country, and Senator Richard Blumenthal says federal regulators need to step in to help bring those costs down. What he says is the reason behind our state's lofty electric rates.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. We made it to Tuesday. Monday's over and gone.
That's right.
It's going to be a hot week, no matter how you look at it, but we're glad you're starting your day off with us, America areas.
And I'm Bridgeport, though at least it's sunny, so if you took the week off, I think you hit the jackpot, as long as you're near some water, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you maybe this is your beach week, or you know you're heading out and you know somebody with a pool.
Great week.
Or if you're just spending time at home outside, definitely just want to be mindful of the hot weather that's on the way, but it is summertime. Right now we do have an air quality alert for this state for today for air quality that will be difficult for some, so you want to limit strenuous outdoor activities, especially if you suffer from respiratory issues. The wind is calm this morning. It's 65 degrees in Hartford. It feels like 65 degrees. It's not all that bad in terms of our humidity right now. Moving forward, though, that humidity is going to continue to kick in. So for today, 59 degrees in Torrington, 63 in Waterbury. We're near 60 degrees in Willimantic. You'll see over time today that humidity does begin to spike, and it will increase overnight tonight, leading to a more humid day tomorrow. Temperatures out the door right now are in the 60s. Will be around 70 degrees at about 8 o'clock this morning, near 80 degrees at 10 a.m. So building those numbers slowly with a lot of sunshine. By noontime, we're already close to 90 degrees with highs today around 89 in New Haven, near 90 in Wallingford, southeastern Connecticut, in the lower to middle 80s too. We are going to be tracking the opportunity for a couple of scattered showers tomorrow, and for Thursday, we'll have more details on that. Your full breakdown coming up in just a bit. Checking in with the roads now here at almost 6:02. For the most part, things are quiet on the roads. We do have some road work that is beginning to wrap up this morning, and we'll take a look at our Fairfield County drive times. From Bridgeport into Fairfield, it's around 7 minutes. Darien to Westport is 6, and on the Merritt Parkway, Trumbull to Westport is around an 11-minute drive. Over to you.
Rachel, thanks. Well, just a quick reminder here, Connecticut's extreme hot weather protocol is in effect through Thursday at 8 p.m. Now, this means cooling centers are going to be open to keep everyone safe from extreme heat. For information on those cooling centers and where you can find the one that's closest to you, just dial 211 or visit FOX61.com.
Students in Bridgeport head back to school in just a couple of weeks now, and some of them will need to walk farther to get to class. The city and district say it's all to save money and try to close a multi-million-dollar budget shortfall. Fox 61's Glenn Kittle is live in Bridgeport this morning with the plan. So Glenn, how will this impact students?
Yeah, good morning, Bridget, Erica. There's definitely going to be an impact to students, particularly when it comes to walking distance. Now, Bridgeport Public Schools just announced that they had announced last year they had a budget shortfall of about $67 million. And in order to close that budget shortfall, that included increasing the walking distance from 1.5 miles to 2.5 miles. That means this upcoming school year, you're going to see more buses on school streets in just a few weeks. This is once again up from the school district's 1.5-mile walking distance from last year. This decision was made last spring to avoid deeper cuts to academic programs, staffing, and classroom resources. Bridgeport's interim superintendent, Dr. Royce Avery, said he and other school leaders are working with police to make sure the longer walking distance radius is safe for those kids. Avery says they're reinforcing their existing Safe Corridor initiative, which includes high-tech surveillance hubs, monitoring cameras in school zones and walking routes, real-time monitoring, and rapid response to incidents. The school district also wants to protect kids on their way to school. They do have a partnership on their way with the Greater Bridgeport Transit District. They're exploring bus passes for students that are just outside of the new eligibility range. Meanwhile, they're also looking for ways for parents to track their child while they're on their way to school. The school district is introducing a walking school bus program as well, with supervised walks to school. They're having that walking school bus program with chaperone walks. They're enhancing an attendance task force to support parents and improving student attendance. Now, Dr. Avery said that the new walking distance radiuses, he hopes that these won't be permanent. He and other school leaders are still looking for sources of funding to hopefully reverse that decision and bring the walking radius back to 1.5 miles. There will be a meeting at the Bridgeport Public Library next Wednesday at 6 p.m. to discuss some of these new changes, as well as the safety protocols that I just mentioned and when they will be implemented. Live in Bridgeport, Glenn Kittle, Fox 61.
Glenn, thanks. 6:04 right now, and parents in Cheshire are facing new transportation challenges this school year as well. A rise in elementary school enrollment means that some students who used to ride the bus may have to find other ways to get there this year. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson explains why the district says it's running out of space and also what's being done to fix the problem.
For years in Cheshire, it was not a question whether your child would be able to ride the bus. But this upcoming school year, some parents are learning that their child's seat is no longer guaranteed. Yellow buses in Cheshire are rolling toward the first day of school, but not every student who's used to riding will be on board. Jeffrey Solon, superintendent at Cheshire Public Schools, says rising enrollment in elementary schools means there aren't enough seats for everyone who qualifies for transportation.
This enrollment growth is impacting the availability of open seats for people who live in the walking zone to be able to get an extra seat that's available on a regularly scheduled bus.
Cheshire buses serve K through 6 students who live more than 1 mile away and 7 through 12 students more than 1.5 miles away. Families who live under a mile are classified as walking distance. But in June, some parents within walking distance were told their children may not be guaranteed a seat on the bus this year.
Those available seats may not be guaranteed the same way they have been in the past. So we've been holding off that decision until after school starts to make sure we can guarantee a seat for everybody who lives outside of the walking area.
Solon says families can file an available seat petition. This petition has been around for a decade and it helps accommodate those walking distance students with bus transportation. But the district says this time spots are no longer guaranteed, and instead the school district will assess what neighborhoods would benefit the most from bus transportation.
We do guarantee some petitions. It depends on where you live, what the bus situation looks like in that area. But there are certainly neighborhoods where we don't feel comfortable yet saying, okay, there will definitely be an open seat for you.
Solon says there's been mixed responses from parents about the decision. He says some parents have been understanding while others are expressing discomfort with facing the reality of their kids walking to school.
Most middle school families feel much more comfortable having their child walk a greater distance than an elementary family does. And sometimes they bring up a legitimate concern about traffic or something. At this point, if we're going to say no, it's really let's wait and see rather than just no.
2 new larger elementary schools are already under construction to help with the spike in enrollment, but they won't be ready until fall of 2026. Until then, if they aren't granted a bus seat, parents will have to find alternative ways to get their kids to class. The district tells me they'll continue monitoring ridership for this upcoming school year, but until those 2 new schools are finished, these transportation woes could stick around until then. In Cheshire, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
6:07 now. While we're talking about school buses and any drivers that see one stopped with a flashing red light or the stop sign out, you must stop at least 10 feet from that bus. It's the law. You could face a fine and up to 30 days in jail if you don't. It's against the law to pass a school bus when red lights are flashing and the safety bar is extended. Authorities also ask you to slow down and be patient, especially in school zones. Avoid any distractions as well. Take it slow if you see kids waiting for the school bus on the side of the street as well.
The Office of the Inspector General says it's investigating a deadly shooting that involved Connecticut State Police. The Inspector General's office says it happened Saturday night in Bosra near Gifford Lane. Now, we don't know much right now. The Inspector General hasn't even confirmed who shot who, but the office investigates when police shoot someone. We spoke with Edward Weiberg, who lived in that neighborhood for more than 20 years. He says his son was home at the time and heard one gunshot.
It made me nervous. Right now, I don't know why it happened or what happened exactly, So I think my son was listening to the police scanners and stuff so he could hear the police talking. They had shut down all the roads back here and everything. The state police units were here and everything.
By law, the Inspector General has to release a preliminary report within 5 business days with the cause of death being released.
President Trump says federal government will take over Washington, D.C.'s police department. He says more needs to be done to fight violent crime. Now, those claims come as city officials say crime is down across the city over a 3-decade span. The president has activated 800 members of the National Guard. The Trump administration also reassigned more than 100 FBI agents to patrol the streets of D.C. at night. While D.C.'s mayor says the law allows the president to temporarily take over the city, she is concerned about the reasons why for the move.
And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past that we're totally surprised.
This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country.
The president did not provide a timeline for how long the takeover of the police department will last.
Senator Richard Blumenthal is calling on federal regulators to step in to rein in the cost of electricity. He's asking the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to independently review major transmission projects. He says utility companies with little outside oversight, many of them are greenlit by utility companies with little outside oversight. Connecticut has some of the highest electric rates in the entire nation at nearly double the national average. Senator Blumenthal thinks families shouldn't have to cover the cost of projects that may not be necessary.
Very few people focus on the cost of transmission, not the producing of electricity, but the transmitting of it, which also is immensely costly because it involves projects like laying new wires and new forms of getting the energy from the place it is generated to the place where it is used.
Eversource responded, saying they support an independent review process and have already submitted comments to ISO New England to make that happen. Now, the company says the transmission projects are critical to reliability and capacity and pointed to recent work in Norwalk and the Naugatuck Valley as examples. Eversource added that it shares goals with Senator Blumenthal and looks forward to working with him to lower costs for customers.